This is Derek Staley with ESFIworld.com, and I'm joined by Kevin QXC Riley. So first of all, thanks for taking time to sit down with us.
No problem.
So we're well into 2012 now. You've played in a couple of major events. Obviously, you're still finishing up school at Harvey Mudd, but how do you feel right now about your overall level of play?
Pretty bad. I mean, I feel like I'm capable of a lot more than what I've been showing at local events, and I graduate in about a month, and I hope MLG Anaheim in the beginning of June will be my first big event, I think, after I graduate, and I hope to do some good things there.
So as you said, you graduate in about a month. Before, you were previously in Korea with FXO. You had an all-kill of IM, including MVP. What are your plans once you graduate in regards to your StarCraft career? I mean, do you plan on staying in the States? Do you plan on going back to Korea?
I want to stay in the States for at least a certain amount of time, and basically, my logic is I don't think it makes a lot of sense to go to Korea until I've got a really good practice schedule down here, because otherwise, like, I'm gonna take the same problems that I have now over with me there, and it's not gonna be as efficient as I would like. So I want to spend some time after I graduate just working on that, making sure that I have a really efficient system, and then hopefully in the next couple of months, maybe sometime in July or August, head over to Korea.
Do you feel that even with the lost time, you're going to be able to get back to sort of that top-level form in a relatively quick period of time once you're able to really focus and concentrate?
Yeah, I'm confident that within a month, I should be able to beat anyone.
So after you left FXO, you joined Complexity. How has your time with Complexity been so far, and what made that a good fit for you?
I have a lot of friends on Complexity, from Beta, Minigun, Cats, Drewby, which was nice. It's definitely nice to be on a team with people you know. And I don't know, they were really friendly, and we both kind of got what we wanted out of the arrangement, so I think it worked out pretty well.
So as we said earlier, we are in Vegas for IPL. When you're in a place like Vegas, is it harder to stay focused as opposed to being at a place like, say, Columbus for an MLG, where there's a lot of distractions around here in Vegas? Obviously, we're in a casino, anything like that.
No, not for me. My life for the last 4 years has basically just been school and StarCraft, and I've never really been one to go out and do things. I don't really like drinking. I don't really like smoking. I don't like gambling. And in general, when I get tired, I like to spend time by myself. And so usually at the end of the day, I just want to go back to the room and chill out. It doesn't really matter what's going on there. The only thing that I really don't like about Vegas is how expensive everything is, because we're in like a hotel town, which is a little unfortunate.
So when you come to major events like these, obviously you're not really in your top form right now, not able to practice full time, but do you still have a process kind of going back and saying, I need to improve on this part of my play, I need to analyze this game and see what I can improve on, or is it tough to do when you're not really able to focus full time?
No, after every game, I just forget about them, and I vow to not make improvements to my play. My objective is actually to become the worst player in the entire world who never gets better at anything. So I definitely 100% did not send the replays to myself so that I could analyze them later, and I really have not spent any time at all thinking about why I lost and what I could do to change that.
Can you be specific about how you really go through after the fact? Like, do you have a normal process you go through, or is it just watching the replays?
So usually after I lose, I'll spend some time just thinking about it, and I'll kind of think about, like, what was the tipping point? Where was the most obvious thing that happened that made me lose? And sometimes that will match up with the game, sometimes it won't. For example, you might think, oh, I mismicroed this battle, and then I lost that, and that's why I lost the game. But the more important lesson that you might not learn unless you watch the replay is that your +2/+2 was actually 5 seconds from finishing. And so if you had waited for that, then you would have won that battle. Or you got supply stuck for a minute, and so you had way less units for that battle than you should have. So I like to always go back and watch the replays. The other thing that I notice is generally losses come because you're not in a great state of mind. You're not making the best decisions, or you're not as fast as you usually are, something like that. And so you can really build up a very negative stigma in your head. You think back to the games like, oh, I got stomped, like it was so bad, I'm so bad, I'm such a bad player. And you watch the replays and you realize like, no, those games were actually all within my grasp. Like if I had just made slightly better decisions or slightly more normal decisions to what I usually do, then I would have won that game. And that definitely helps in getting over events and not worrying about them too much.
So something that's always a topic of discussion, and especially right now, a lot of Terran players are not happy with the state of TVP, as well as TVZ with the snipe change. Do you really even think about balance going into things like this, and what are your thoughts on balance right now?
I mean, okay, so the way I look at balance is basically it doesn't matter whether or not the game is imbalanced, because that's not my job. My job isn't to make the game balance. My job is not to convince Blizzard to change the game in any way, because I've tried that and it never works. My job is to win. And so you have to overcome whatever perceived imbalance may exist by any means necessary. That's the job as a pro gamer. So it doesn't matter if it's imbalanced or not. You have to find a way to win regardless of the fact.
With that said, how do you feel about your 3 different matchups right now and your overall comfortable, or how comfortable you are with the 3 matchups?
It's fine. There's little weaknesses here and there, little things that I need to touch up, but in general I feel like I've made a lot of progress recently on the 3 matchups. But it's tough. The last week I practiced maybe 4 or 5 hours total because I had a couple of projects, things that I need to take care of as the senior year ends.
So moving forward into sort of things that are going on in the scene right now, it seems like the StarCraft 1 players are going to be coming soon with Mike Morhaime going to Korea and teammates coach talking about them practicing StarCraft 2. Have you thought about that at all and how that might impact the scene both here and in Korea?
I mean, the Koreans are going to win. Like that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Like the North Americans and Europeans, by and large, do not commit as heavily as the Koreans do. Like the way I look at it, more than the Koreans have some sort of like secret mojo, is just that they're more willing to make it their life than the vast majority of other people. Like Huck made it his life. That's all he does. He doesn't give lessons. He doesn't do shows. He doesn't do interviews. He just practices and plays, and he's good. Like that makes sense. And then you have someone else who does a lot of shows and does casting and all these other things and expects to be able to compete with the Koreans, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Like if you want to beat someone, you can't be splitting your attention like that. And so sure, the StarCraft 1 players are all very good and they're probably going to show some new things to the scene, but like that's not the issue. The issue is if we want to compete, we have to commit. That's it. And there's no way around it. You can't beat someone who's spending 8 hours a day, 10 hours, 12 hours a day efficiently becoming better at the game when you're only spending 4. That doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to that. The only way you can keep up with other people is if they're bad at improving. Right? Like I shouldn't be able to keep up with people in general. The amount of time that I spend compared to the vast majority of other people is much lower. And as time is going on, that seems to be more and more the case, where I'm not able to do very well at local events. But I don't know. I want to commit. It's gonna happen. I just talked about a lot of different stuff that wasn't related to your question.
It's good. So also on the horizon, we hopefully have Heart of the Swarm. Have you thought about that at all and things you'd like to see into the game to make it a better competitive game?
Not really, because again, I don't think Blizzard will listen to us. They don't seem to care about or maybe this is just kind of a resentful opinion. They don't seem to care about what I think or what the community at large thinks. And I mostly am reflecting on the ghost change, which it's just not a good way to do the change. It's just not. It should have been a reduce damage to massive instead of a reduce damage to everything. Like why remove the utility of the ghost in all the other matchups? If Blizzard had said we've been examining the ghosts in all matchups and we find snipe to be too strong in general, then that change makes perfect sense. What bothers me about that is how they said one thing and then did something that doesn't reflect the mindset that they put forth. And then when the community, that post that I made had like 40 pages on Team Liquid and was literally reposted to every single StarCraft website. I even sent them emails about it, and nothing, no response at all. So in terms of what I'd like to see in Heart of the Swarm, it doesn't matter. I don't even care. Like,
you'd like to see Blizzard interaction is what you really like.
Yeah, really. Like, I want to see a more interesting and fun game. And whether or not that's going to come, I don't know. Terran units don't seem particularly engaging to me. Like, I don't want to make my Hellion into a battle Hellion. I don't want a Goliath. Like, I've had Goliaths. They're not interesting units. Maybe getting rid of Thors will be a good thing though, because those are actually the worst unit ever.
All right, so looking forward for the rest of 2012. Once you do get out of Harvey Mudd, once you graduate, what are your goals for the rest of the year? As far as what do you need to do for this year to be a success for you?
I just want to win. I want to win everything.
All right.
I want to win so badly. I want to defeat my opponents so badly that they will question their ability to play this game. They will reflect on their loss and think about, I don't even understand what I'm doing. That's how badly I want to beat them.
All right. So with that said, any last words? Thank you very much for the interview again.
No, just a big shout out to sponsors, my friends, family, people who've supported me. Follow me on Twitter, ColeQXC. Check me out on Facebook, QXC. And let's see, let's do the sponsor thing. We have Origin, PNY, QPad, QSend, Sound Blaster, and just my team, Complexity in general, for sending me out here.
All right. Thank you.
Cool.